at our homepage. Also, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter name is rational_talk. We are rationalbroadcasting.com, and we are the talk you've been missing.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to rationalbroadcasting.com's This is the 10% Dallas. I am Richard Curtin. I'm in the studio today with Jackie Jet.
That's me, Jackie Jet. You know, am I kind of the Sonny to your Cher, or the, when you and Israel were doing the show, you were a couple and you had your vibe going. So now I feel like I'm either like your Kim Kardashian, or your...
Oh dear, can you believe... What the hell? Kim Kardashian?
I want to get married like Kim Kardashian. I heard that they are made, since they've been married, that their average, from what they sold their wedding as, they made $250,000 a day for being married.
Really? And did you know they're getting divorced?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That their wedding cost like $2 million, but then they were paid like $17 million for the rights, to it, to air it all, and now they're divorcing, so that's how much they made
in 70 days. After 70 days, they're getting divorced. What kind of craziness is that?
I don't know. I think we should come down on Big E on this, because Big E, you heterosexuals are really screwing the sanctity of marriage up, don't you think?
Don't be saying y'all. I got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, you headies, you're all in there together.
Well, Kim Kardashian is now married twice.
Oh, she was married before this?
She was.
Big E, does that big ass do it for you?
Kim Kardashian does not do it for me at all.
At all. But what about just because she's known for her big ass, right?
I think she's gorgeous. I do.
You do?
I really do. I think she's really gorgeous. God. Her Amazon sister, though. I mean, you know how you can kind of like really tell when people are siblings?
Right.
Those three sisters, I mean, they have a similarity, but wow. That one really looks like a man in drag.
Yeah, well, I will tell you.
What's her name? Chloe?
Yeah. I will tell you this, that brother, Rob, has one of the best butts in the world. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
It is so massive that when he wears a Speedo, you can still see the crack in it. And, I love big butts, so if...
you cannot lie.
I cannot lie. Where is that from?
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Where's that from, Big E?
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh,
Sir Mix-a-Lot. It's the biggest one-hit wonder of the 1990s.
Yeah. So to Big E, if I were a hetero, I would probably love Kim Kardashian simply for her butt. But now that we've got that out of the way,
and Rob Kardashian is, I think, really beautiful.
He is really beautiful. And it's been nice to see him just on the bits I've seen on Dancing with the Stars, because he is the only reason I just kind of glance over on it, and if he's coming up, then I watch and I just look for his butt, the shots with his butt in it.
How is he doing?
I don't. Last time I checked, he was still in it. I have a feeling he may end up winning it.
I know that Chaz got bumped.
But did you know Chaz is doing the World of Wonder people are doing another series with Chaz? And did you see the HBO documentary that they did on Chaz? Chaz has a really nice girlfriend, a really pretty girlfriend, and they kind of are a wholesome couple, so I think that they're going to follow them as a couple from this point on. Should be interesting. What are you smelling? Or do you
Big E is going,
whoa. I'm sorry, I didn't know my mic was on. I apologize.
I'm sorry, am I boring you, Big E?
No, I had a rough weekend.
He doesn't want to talk about big butts on boys.
Okay.
I had a really rough weekend. Speaking of big butts on boys, we had our annual charity drag show this weekend. I'm still wore out.
Oh, Richard Curtin has a big charity drag show every weekend.
Good Lord, it's every day is Halloween.
And what did you go as?
I MC it every year.
Oh, you
This
did?
year, I did the whole. I took your ideas, Richard. I just couldn't put the outfit together in time, so I did the whole game show host thing. My name was Mike Hawkages.
Mike what?
Hawkages.
Hawkages? Is it? Do you get it?
No.
Mike Hawkages.
Hawkages.
My cock itches.
Oh, I get it. My cock. Say it again now. My cockages.
Mike Hawkages.
My cockages. I get it.
It was a last minute thing.
Mine does too, but I've got a feeling it was the boy I took home the other day.
You did not.
I didn't.
Oh, I didn't. Which what I thought so. So do you?
I've been way too busy. The Halloween weekend. Wow.
Just to let our listeners know, Richard has been celebrating Halloween since last Wednesday, and would you say you're about Halloweened out?
I am Halloweeny.
Halloweeny. Seen enough drag queens. I'm sure you see them all the time, but this has been an abundance of them, hasn't it?
Yes, an abundance, and everybody wants to show me their shoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because one, they can't walk in them. Two, they're a truck driver, so they only wear them once a year.
Right.
And three, they paid too much for them, so they want to make sure that everybody that has come out has seen their shoes.
Right.
And their face that was painted with a baseball bat.
And I think I'm guessing that at this sort of thing and that happens, everyone that's out there wants to talk to Edna Jean, don't they?
And sure, everybody wants to be seen
with
and be photographed.
Right. And then, so how do you manage all of that, 1,000 things coming at you at one time, and then still host?
You just got to keep going it. In fact, one of the best things about hosting the costume parade on Saturday, I really do love it. It's my favorite thing that I do every year. Is you have to be prepared for what is coming up. And so, if you've got a microphone in your hand and someone's walking up like a truck driver wearing shoes that are way too small for them and that they can't walk in, you really have to use the material in front of you and work it.
Right.
And not be afraid to, to celebrate it, make fun of it, and have fun with it.
But not be too bitchy. Or, never mind.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I do want to say, if I can bring up a little sad note, did you hear our friend Spanky pass away?
Yeah, I did.
And we just had him on the show a few weeks ago. And
yes.
Just to remind everyone, he's the guy who, for years, has done I don't forget what he called it, but it was...
in fact, this past October 8th was the 21st annual Spanky's Toilet Paper Party.
Yeah, where he raised toiletries and toilet paper.
For ASD, AIDS Services of Dallas, and he's been doing it for 21 years.
Yeah. And I always, when I first moved back to Dallas and heard about it, I thought it was one of the coolest little innovative concepts, that shows that any of us can come up with some creativity and do whatever we can. We don't have to be David Geffen, to donate to the cause of HIV and AIDS. And he had come up with such a brilliant little concept. Do we know what happened to him?
What I was told is they believe that he had a heart attack.
Yeah. Well, sadly, I know a little too much about that. But how old was he?
Early 50s.
Yeah.
And he's been doing this toilet paper party for 21 years. He started it 21 years ago on his birthday. They wanted to have a big birthday party, but he didn't want it to be self-serving, and he wanted to give back to the community. And AIDS Services of Dallas at that point was called something else. He really weathered all of the changes of this organization for 21 years, and they were in need of paper products, Kleenex and paper towels and things for the center. Mm-hmm. And so he had a toilet paper party, and it just he did it every year, and then he added a second fundraiser.
One, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he did it twice a year for 21 years, and
He's going to be missed.
Yes, he really is.
He is going to be missed, and a great guy.
And he could make some great cheesecake.
Could he really?
Oh, my God, yes.
That's kind of what he was known for at the parties, too.
Well, he also put out a big spread of meatballs and pulled pork, and, you know, a lot of the organizations would give him things to give to people, like loaves of bread.
Oh, cool.
And, you know, he had candy and he had cakes, and he did make
Did he have a
cakes.
partner?
He didn't. He did, but I think the partner died several years ago.
Okay. So I'm hoping someone will take this over.
I am sure. I am sure that somebody will. I'm sure somebody will. It's been going for a very long time, and it would be a shame for it to stop.
Right.
And I think that they should keep the name Spanky's Toilet Paper Party.
Hey, before we go to break, I just want you to tell me some of your favorite costumes that you saw on the boulevard.
It was really a fun year. The parade started about 9:45 Saturday night, and this was probably the largest Halloween costume or Halloween street party I've ever seen.
Right.
I estimated it between 35 and 40,000 people.
Wow.
There was a young lady who was probably 350 pounds, all dressed in green, and she had a Squirt logo on her shirt, and she was carrying a 2-liter bottle of Squirt, so she was the 50-liter bottle of Squirt. That was really cute. And of course, you know, there was a plethora of beautiful naked boys, which is always really great to see.
I know. And you know what? Biggie, you can shut your ears on this, okay? But I love the ones that show their package in a loose way. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I don't like the Speedo tight-fitting. I want to see it moving. You know, I call it bird watching or entomological kind of thing. So if it's moving or they're in tighty-whitey, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Were there plenty of those?
Absolutely. There were many of those. There was a really good Michelle and Barack Obama, and they were in a car. I was dressed as a turkey. I was a jive turkey.
Oh, that's great.
And as they were going down the parade, I ran to them and threw myself in front of the car and asked them to pardon me at Thanksgiving. There were a lot of clowns this year.
Really? I wonder
There were a
why.
lot of clowns. There were a lot of dead zombie Amy Winehouses.
Oh, that's good.
And there were some that were really good. And there were a lot of groups of Rocky Horror Picture Show this year.
Wow.
I saw probably 5 groups that included a Frankenfurter and a Rocky, which is always great to see.
That's
a naked
kinda
man in
retro.
a gold lame hot pants. You're listening to the 10% Dallas on RationalBroadcasting.com. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back with Richard Curtin and Jackie Jett.
Hi, I'm Rich Hancock, and you may know me as America's preeminent underwear model. Join me weekdays from 9 to 11 Central Time for Rational Talk with me, Kelly Hooper, Eric Castillo, and a cavalcade of marginal celebrities who love politics almost as much as the sound of their own voices. That's Rational Talk with Rich Hancock on RationalBroadcasting.com. Weekdays from 9 to 11. We are the talk you've been missing. We are Rational Radio 2.0.
What's up, people? Big Dave from the Big Dave and Chloe Show, right here with you. Hey, if you're a small business owner or a big business owner and you'd like to advertise right here on Rational Broadcasting on the fastest growing internet radio show in history, the Big Dave and Chloe Show, give us a call at 214-631-1360 or email us anytime at the Big Dave and Chloe Show at hotmail.com. That's 214-631-1360 or the Big Dave and Chloe Show at hotmail.com.
Rick Vanderslice here with your invitation to join in on the most compelling and entertaining conversations on the radio with my new show, Conversations with Rick Vanderslice. For the next several months, I'll be hosting from a little south of the border in exciting Buenos Aires, Argentina. We'll still have our wonderful group of co-hosts based both in Dallas and other far-flung cities around the globe, like LA, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Moscow, Mexico City, and God knows where else. Please join us weekday afternoon streaming live here on RationalBroadcasting.com.
Hey, Eric, want to know how to keep your meat from being carcinogenic?
My meat? Cindy, what are you talking about?
Eric, I'm talking about grilling here. How to grill healthier. You marinate your meat.
Oh.
What did you think? Join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Alternative Health Talk with Cindy Freeling, 3 to 4 p.m. I talk about health issues in the news and give lots of tips for a healthier lifestyle.
Blitz Weekly is your source for news, sports, entertainment, and advice. Everything guys like. Blitz Weekly is available each and every Wednesday throughout the Metroplex. Pick up your free copy today. Once you have the Blitz Weekly in your hand, check out the Rational Radio section. It's worth it. Why wait? Get Blitz today. Visit blitzweekly.com and click on the hot link section for the hottest links on the net this week. Blitz Weekly. It's what guys want. Weekly.
You're listening to the newest innovation in progressive networking, RationalBroadcasting.com. While the French political right points fingers of blame, we point to rational solutions. While the neocons demonize progress and change, we embrace smart alternatives. While the obstructionists build walls, we work to build bridges. Welcome to the future of your progressive voice. Based in Dallas and streaming the globe, Rational Radio 2.0 is RationalBroadcasting.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to RationalBroadcasting.com's The 10%. I'm Richard Curtin. I'm a little, do you hear?
Yeah.
I'm really kind of clogged up and sinusy and tired and exhausted, and my voice is just shot.
But it sounds mega butch.
Mega butch.
Yeah, sure does. You know, are you a lot of people that surf the net and happen to be incredibly spiritually oriented as myself, follow the Landover Baptist Church. Landover Baptist Church is probably the best way to get to heaven, and as you know, that is my priority in life, is to
get to heaven?
Is to get to heaven and lead a life of pure Christianity here on earth, and to witness the word of the Lord to as many people as I can, and bring them into what I like to call my gay Christian fold.
Boy, my feet are cold.
And one of my spiritual mentors, probably throughout my career, has been a man named Brother Harry Hardwick, who is from the Landover Baptist Church and closely associated with Betty Bowers. He has guided me through, in and out of homosexuality. And anyway, he's on the line with us today. I wanted you to become aware of him, Richard, in hopes that maybe, just maybe, you can get a little closer to the Lord. I
hope to meet him.
I think you've drifted. Brother Harry, are you there?
I am, Jack. I don't know what to make of that statement that I brought you in and out of homosexuality. I just hope my wife's not listening here, but I've done my best for you. It hasn't been successful thus far, but I'm still hoping.
I guess what I should have said, brother, is that you have brought me out of homosexuality, and it is my sinful self that drags myself back into it.
Well, I think that's fair.
Yeah. My friend...
Well, I don't think that's fair at all.
I think my friend Richard Curtin is here, and not only is he... Brother Harry, not only is he a homosexual, I think he's a raging homosexual, and not only that,
absolutely,
he runs a chain of homosexual bars. That every night there is a plethora of homosexual activity taking place, and in addition to that, Richard has been known to don a dress and high heels.
I believe the term that those folks use when they come to our ministry is insatiable bottoms.
Yes, I think that would pretty well. Richard,
I love an insatiable. I love an insatiable bottom. I love to be an insatiable bottom.
Well, I think that's what he's saying that you are.
He can come and partake if he'd like.
Well, I don't think Brother Harry's going to be doing that. He rallies against that. Well, tell us what's new. What's new in the world of Betty Bowers?
Well, Jack, not much. Ms. Bowers, as you know, has a number of videos on YouTube.
Right.
She just came up with one of her more popular ones, America's 5 favorite ways to ignore Jesus Christ. I hope your listeners will take some time to look up Betty on YouTube, as well as Harry Hardwick, myself, and Pastor Deacon Fred. But we're just trudging along, We're trying to keep up with the economy and trying to figure out who's in and who's out in the Republican Party, since, of course, we got to vote for the Republican no matter what. But
yeah.
But we're just surviving, I suppose.
Well, let me ask you this: how is this because I know that you base, and Betty Bowers bases the level of Christianity and someone's assuredness into getting into heaven on how much money they give to Betty Bowers. Am I right?
Well, to the church. I wouldn't say to Betty Bowers. I'd say to the church.
To the church.
We do earn a salary from the church, but the money's going to the church.
Right. You earn this salary?
Oh, absolutely. We're always working for the Lord, 24/7. I'm praying for Jack even when I'm not conscious.
Right. See, and I appreciate that.
I'm praying for Jack, too.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing.
Just because you're on your knees doesn't mean you're praying. Now, there is a big difference. Remember that.
No, I don't see the difference. I think worship is worship, no matter what you're doing with your mouth.
Or what
there's
you're
idol
worshiping.
worship, though, and then there's the worship of the Lord.
There you go, Richard. What are you doing when you're on your knees? What are you worshiping?
Some graven image, I can assure you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Has the economy affected your the people tithing to Betty Bowers and Landover?
No, we just raised the tithe.
Oh.
Just think of us as kind of like a pseudo credit card company. The tithe is now 18.5% of your gross income.
Oh, it's gone up to 18.5.
Wow, it's gone way up.
Wow.
Yes.
The Lord really is expensive these days.
Visa shouldn't make more than Jesus. That's the way we see it.
Well, that's logical sense. One of the things that you taught me, and I'd like for you to maybe explain to Richard here, is how the Betty Bowers, I don't know if it's Betty Bowers or Brother Harry's cure for homosexuality that has to do with there being too much space in the rectum.
Well, it's not a cure, Jack. We can talk about cures, but this is a discovery we made of the cause of homosexuality.
Oh, okay.
Of course, identifying the cause of any illness is the first step in curing that ailment.
Right.
It wasn't me, and it wasn't Betty. It was Dr. Jonathan Watkins of the Landover Baptist Hospital for the Saved. Dr. Watkins, on contract with Mrs. Bowers' ex-gay ministry, you've heard of it.
Right.
Baptists Are Saving Homosexuals, or BASH. Dr. Watkins took 7 of these homosexual men out into a cabin in the woods one weekend with him to see if he could discover what it is that turns red-blooded promise keepers into, as we said before, insatiable bottoms.
Right.
And what Dr. Watkins learned after that long weekend was that homosexual gratification occurs when rectal demons are jammed up against this thing called the prostate gland.
I love a rectal demon that's jammed.
Well, because their space has been invaded.
Now listen to this, Richard.
Stimulate the gland with their scampering hooves and tiny little tridents.
Right.
In fact, if it weren't for these rectal demons, buggery would be no more enjoyable than sticking a giant Q-tip into your ear.
There you go.
So we have ordered removal of prostate glands from all people admitted to Landover Hospital. But we still seem to see some folks that backslide nonetheless.
Right. So what you're saying is that if you, by removing the prostate, then you're removing the need to fill the area around the prostate.
Well, the thing was we had to choose between removing the prostate gland or the demons, and as any Bible-believing creation science doctor worth his leeches can tell you, demons are a lot harder to find in suture.
Okay, got it. Now, here's what there's been all this talk recently about Mitt Romney and whether his religion should come into play as far as him becoming a Republican president. So my question to you is, do you think Mormons are headed for hell?
Well, that pretty much goes without saying. The book of Revelation says that anyone who adds to the Holy Bible, the King James Version 1611, I might add, is destined for hell.
Right.
Really, the Mormons are nothing more than Jim Jones followers without the purple Kool-Aid. Plus, we already see
Wow.
their progression to hell in action. It always starts the same. It starts with a bunch of Nancy boys dressing up in Abercrombie and Fitch clothes and hanging out together, though the clothes don't stay on that long.
My prostate is
Then
swelling.
they get their own Broadway show, as the Mormons have done, and then it's just a hop, skip, and a plie down to hell. Apparently, that's the reason they wear all that fancy fire-retardant underwear.
Oh, I can. Yes, that is so true. So I assume that you're not going to be, you and the Betty Bowers and Landover will not be supporting Mitt Romney in this election.
We won't. We only support Christians. That's correct.
And who are you supporting?
Well, you know, there really isn't much of a candidate yet. Not only is Mitt Romney a hellbound Mormon, but he also seems to be have more personalities than Sybil. I don't want to take the chance that the one that shows up in the White House will be one I don't like. And his religion does sort of make the Scientologists look like rational thinkers.
Exactly.
Kane, I really can't figure out whether he's Amos or Andy. And plus, with regard to the colored thing, we've been there and done that. I think letting the Kenyan go from scrubbing floors until they're white to living in an already white house met our affirmative action obligations a long time ago. Michelle Bachmann's a woman, so that's out of the question. I think probably I'll just vote for old Newt Gingrich. Unlike Rick Perry, at least when Newt cheats on his wife, he does it with a woman.
Wow.
He does when Newt. What you're saying? Newt's cheated on a couple of wives, hasn't he?
Well, that's true, but yes, that is true, and he was caught. Distinguishes him from some of the others.
Now, brother, I've been listening to you, and I'd like to know that if in the past, did you ever pray away the gay? Because you really have a little sarcastic, little kind of faggoty wit to you.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Well,
And
now
so-
you people always try to co-opt the best in all of us. Whether it's the places we like to go for vacation, like stealing Key West and Laguna Beach away from us, or taking some good trait we have and trying to make it yours. Y'all are always trying to claim that everything belonged to you. This is no different.
So, are you currently praying away the gay? Are you and
I
Marcus
pray away the
Bachman on your
gay
knees
all
together
the
praying
time.
away the gay?
Unfortunately, Jack still exists.
Well, I guess what Richard is asking is maybe just a little bashful about it. Is he's wanting to know: have you, Brother Harry, ever had any homosexual experiences that you had to pray away for yourself?
Oh, Jack, of course not. I absolutely emphatically deny anything of the kind.
Deny anything of the kind is not really saying that you have. Have you ever?
I have never had any inappropriate contact with a man.
Okay.
Neither have I. It has all been extremely appropriate.
Yeah, see, there you go. Have you ever lusted for a man?
Now, Jack, Christians don't even lust after women. It says right in Matthew chapter 5, verse 26, that a man who so much as looks after a woman with lust is already an adulterer. And so I certainly don't lust after men if I can't even lust after women.
Well, okay.
I haven't lusted after my wife since she quit Weight Watchers 10 years ago.
Okay. Tell me this. Who would, in this upcoming election, who would Jesus vote for?
Well, Jesus doesn't vote, Jack. Jesus was an appointed authoritarian rather than an elected official. He didn't put his parables up for vote by the apostles. He took his orders only from God.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, Jesus has enough trouble dealing with his daddy than he does with 51% of the electorate. You have to remember that he had to watch his back constantly just to make sure that his daddy didn't kill him. So I hardly think he had time to go around voting for human beings to run the government. Jesus is removed from all this democracy stuff.
Okay.
Do you think it is possible, I'd like to talk about Noah and the Great Flood. Do you think it is possible that that two homosexual reptiles or creepy things or two homosexual animals came to the ark and that's why they're now extinct?
You know, that's a good question. That might be what happened to the dinosaurs. that were around during that time period. I always thought that the Lord just kept the news of the Ark a secret from all the dinosaurs, but it may have been that Noah put 2 brontosauruses on that and he didn't notice the dangling things. But I think that's a distinct possibility. It's also a little disturbing that after he sailed and landed, that Noah sacrificed one of each type of animal to the Lord, given the fact that that would mean only one was left, and unless they got someone pregnant on the Ark, that was pretty much the end of that species.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We are going to take a quick little break. Will you stick around with us during the break?
I'd be more than happy to. I'm always ready to witness in the name of the Lord.
All right, we'll be right back after this with Brother Harry Hardwick from Landover Baptist Church and, of course, associated with the beautiful Betty Bowers.
Hey, what's going on? It's Big E. Join me and the rest of the Outcasts every Monday through Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. right here at RationalBroadcasting.com, where we discuss the important issues of the world from opinions that you may or may not agree with, but we don't care. It's our opinions. That's every Monday through Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. on RationalBroadcasting.com. Make sure to join us, tell a friend about us, find us on Facebook, The Outcast Radio Show. And remember, we are The Outcasts. We're so far left, we're all right.
SOS from Texas is your choice for organic cotton products. We grow T-shirts. Our tees and sportswear lines are made from 100% organic cotton grown on SOS farms located in the Texas Panhandle. SOS, or Save Our Soil, has been certified organic by the Texas Department of Agriculture since 1992 and is one of the oldest suppliers of organic cotton sportswear. Check us out online at sosfromtexas.com or call 800-245-2339. SOS from Texas, 100% grown and sewn in the USA. Where do you get your news and information? There are newspapers for now, but you can't talk to a newspaper. There are magazines, TV shows, blogs, emails, and even tweets, but you can't talk to them either. If you want to hear about the news of the day, offer your opinion, and be challenged on it, you want RationalBroadcasting.com. Join me, Rich Hancock, along with Pugs and Company, Rick Vanderslice, Cindy Freeling, Tunde Obazi, and a whole lot more for the talk you've been missing on RationalBroadcasting.com. We are Rational Radio 2.0.
Welcome back to RationalBroadcasting.com. This is the 10% Dallas. I'm Richard Curtin. I'm with Jackie Jett. And on the phone, we have Brother Harry Hardwick.
Mm-hmm. He's witnessing to us. Have you learned something so far, Richard?
Absolutely. Ignorance comes in many forms, shapes, and colors. Speaking of, Brother Harry, I'd like to meet Betty Bowers.
Well, I'll put you on the list. but don't hold your breath. If you send your financial offering in first, it might cause you to be moved up on the list. That's really something someone else handles besides me. But I would send that in first if you really want a realistic chance of a meeting with America's Best Christian.
And is it because she's so busy?
Well, that and her time is money, Jack.
Right.
She makes quite a bit of money per hour of her Christian ministry work, and
she earns that per hour, correct?
She earns every penny of it.
From the Lord?
Well, she earns it from people.
Right.
But she does it in the name of the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Right. So why is she so elusive? Why is it that we can only see her in video? Why is it that she doesn't hold conferences?
Well, it's like Betty always says. If the people I was going to deal with in my social life are those dreadful people that I minister to, what would be the point, really?
What about the people that share in her views and want to propel her way of thinking?
Well, again, the old mighty American dollar is the way to go about propelling Ms. Bauer's way of thinking. So as soon as we get your Jesus offering in, that will certainly facilitate the meeting process.
I would love to give a Jesus offering.
Yeah. I wish I had an offering of Jesus to give.
Yes, I have a feeling we've gone away from Christianity here and on to other things. Let us move back if we can.
Okay, we'll try to. Let me ask you this. You know, a lot of there's a lot of people out of jobs now, and a lot of people are blaming the jobless people for being jobless, basically just saying they're lazy, and if they wanted a job, they could get a job. What are your thoughts on that?
No, being jobless, that's God's will. The Bible says that to those who have, even more will be given, and to those who have not, even what little they have will be taken away. So really, the rich-poor gap has a strong Christian origin.
Right.
Now, I know that Jesus, during a very careless moment, said that we should sell all our worldly possessions, give the money to the poor, and follow him. But you have to understand that Jesus lived during a time when folks didn't have nothing. Selling your exhausted donkey to a nomad wasn't really a great loss. I think Jesus would have thought twice about that line if he had lived during the time of Maseratis and beach house estates and investment deals. Plus, the Bible says the poor will always be with us. Now, if we start giving all our money to the poor, they won't always be with us. Plus, then we would be the poor, which would make the formerly poor have to give the current poor everything back, so the current poor are rich again, and it's just also very confusing.
It is
confusing.
Kind of
skip over that part of the Bible.
It is confusing.
And so how certain are you about the time of Jesus that people had nothing? All people had nothing? There weren't people that had frankincense, gold, and myrrh?
Well, there were a few of those, but they didn't have much other than that. I mean, what good does it do to have a Rolex watch if you spend your life in an alley? Wander in the desert with a bunch of frankincense, hardly. It sounds to me like much of a standard of living.
Well, okay, here's what I want to know about Rick Now, Rick Santorum seems like he would be right up your alley, Brother Harry, because he is really concerned about...
looking at Rick Santorum, he might be right up your alley.
He could be.
I'd love to see him in an alley.
I'd like to see his alley, to be honest with you.
I'd like to put my finger in it.
But here's what I'd like to know. Rick Santorum seems to be, he's obviously anti-gay, but he seems to be totally taken with... don't ask, don't tell, and with regards to soldiers showering together. If I've heard him mention it once, I've heard him mention it a dozen times. His main concern about soldiers, gay soldiers, is they're going to be in the shower with straight soldiers. Would you, Brother Harry, being the major hetero that you are, would you feel awkward taking a shower with me?
Well, first of all, Jack, I don't take a shower with anybody, including my own wife. So, yes, I would feel awkward. But let's be real about Rick Santorum. Open your eyes. That man is gayer than a tulip tree full of pink parrots singing Lady Gaga. Really, the people who seem most terrified about other people's decadence are usually the ones who long for it.
Right.
Although, from what I understand about Rick, from talking to some of our BASH participants, if he was in the shower with these gays and accidentally got aroused, no one would probably notice.
Ah.
But, it's just a matter of time before he's picking up some meth-abusing catamite or tapping his foot in a Minnesota airport bathroom.
Tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, he seems to be too concerned about that.
Brother Harry, do you think it is at all possible that a single man in his early 30s that has 12 apostles is, one, a homosexual?
Well, I think that's certainly possible. I think the Lord was a great exception to that rule, obviously, although it does give one pause that his entire life was spent hanging around these men, washing their feet, putting perfume on them. I understand that does look bad, especially since he did so wearing flowing white robes and long blonde hair. But we just have to accept by faith that this was a purely platonic situation.
We have to accept by faith. What is your background, Brother Harry? Where did you grow up, and where did you study and get so knowledgeable on the Bible and its teachings?
Well, I don't know if you would know it, but I'm referred to back in Freehold, Iowa, as the Bible Answer Man. I hold the record for reading all of the big-ets of the Old Testament in reverse order the fastest.
Oh.
And causing the most convulsions in a single sermon. I have been preaching at Landover Baptist all my adult life. I grew up at Landover Baptist, and frankly, other than a few business trips, rarely leave Freehold, Iowa, where Landover's located.
Right. Now, what does it take to become a member of Landover Baptist Church?
Money. Well, that's first, of course.
Right.
We don't exclude the poor. We have a special place in the parking lot that has closed-circuit video cameras where the poor can watch what's happening in the church with the worthwhile folks. But you do need to tithe a certain amount. We have platinum tithers, gold tithers, and silver tithers, and then our 10-level tithers. The 10-level tithers sit in the balcony, and, of course, there are skyboxes in the church for the platinum tithers.
Wow. Well, okay, this may be a rather personal question.
We really put that old, what's-his-name, down in Houston to shame.
Oh,
Joel Osteen, I think is the one with the wife who can't seem to get along with anybody.
Yes, and also he had the man with no lips either.
She is gorgeous, though.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I was talking about him.
Oh. Brother Harry, is it too much or too personal of me to ask what your financial background is and Betty's financial? Do you guys, do you live in wealth? Do you have, mansions? Do you have jacuzzis and swimming pools and all of that?
Well, it's not too personal, Jack. I'm just not going to tell you.
Oh, okay.
We have some. Listen. There's the IRS is really proof of what happens when the liberals take over this country and expand the bureaucracies. That we have to deal with the IRS on a fairly regular basis. So I'd prefer not to be broadcasting my business side on this particular program.
Okay. Let me put it to you this way. Would Betty be more likely to shop at Kmart or at Neiman's?
Well, I guess if she wasn't having a fitting in Milan, she might actually traipse into Neiman's if she was plumbing it for the day.
Right.
I love Betty.
Yeah.
Betty's a girl after my own heart.
Mm-hmm.
Does Betty get her nails done?
Well, she does. Now, I understand that the last Vietnamese woman got damned straight to hell for the job she did, but I think that Betty's probably gone back to found somebody else now.
Right. What is Betty's latest video on YouTube?
Well, I think I mentioned it before. It's Christians' 5 favorite ways to ignore Jesus.
Oh, and what are they?
Well, you have to go. You got to go watch the video, Jack. I don't want to give it away.
Now, when we go to YouTube, is is the Betty Bowers videos located? Do they find her under Landover or Betty?
Just type in Betty Bowers.
Okay.
Type in Harry Hardwick. Type in Deacon Fred, Pastor Deacon Fred.
Right.
And our videos will all come up on YouTube.
Right. Is there ever any bitchiness between the three of you? Do you ever get a little jealous that one's getting more press than the other?
Well, no, Jack, because you have to understand that we're doing it all for the Lord. And if you got to show off with jewels and designer clothes like Betty does, I understand that she needs to do those things to get attention. I'm not jealous of that. The fact that I get attention without throwing myself out at people like that doesn't mean that Betty's any less a person.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you this: have you ever had a rather handsome man that was in your, attended one of your services come on to you? Have you ever had that kind of a gay vibe? Someone that just found you incredibly sexy? Because you are, if I can be honest, you are an incredibly sexy man.
You look like you work out.
Yeah.
Well, as I understand, there is a certain category of homosexual men who do like people like me.
Right.
And certainly doing our ex-gay ministry, we get approached all the time. Betty has had to rebuke several lesbians during the ministry services, but that's not something that I really think about. I just do my best to, as you pointed out, pray the gay away.
Right.
Meaning get real far away.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, is it possible to believe that you can pray the gay to stay?
No. Remember that homosexuality is a choice, not something you need God's help.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that it's a choice.
The decision made as casually as deciding which tie matches the suit you're wearing.
Oh, it's that simple.
It's that simple. And really do quote from the Bible for me, for our listeners, where it says that homosexuality is an abomination.
Well, that's in Leviticus. I don't remember the exact chapter.
You don't remember? Brother Harry Hardwick does not remember.
No, I don't know what we're going to do about that. We'll have to.
I'm calling bullshit.
I work more towards curing homosexuality towards condemning homosexuality.
Okay. And so, how do
if
you
they choose not to be converted? Then I do, of course, condemn them. But it's in the book of Leviticus. The verse escapes me at the moment.
And talk a little bit about how you cure the gay.
Well, now, I have to tell you honestly, we used a lot of high-tech means to do it at BASH before this Sarah Palin / Michelle Bachmann just prayed the gay away. We actually would have these homosexual men strip their clothes off and sit in the home theater, and then we'd have some Mexicans hook their genitalia up to electrodes.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Half the time we would show hardcore gay porn, and if there was the slightest sign of arousal, we'd shock them with 50,000 volts of current. And then the other half of the time, we would have them serviced by the participants of Mrs. Bowers' Christian crack whore ministry. But, of course, the lights would always be out during the service, and since, as Ms. Bowers says, no lady submits to that ungodly and messy act in the light.
Right.
And so they wouldn't know who was servicing them. It worked remarkably well. Over the last 15 years, we've saved tens of homosexuals from the hobby of homosexuality.
Literally tens of them?
Our ministry was so successful that some of those homosexuals, especially the ones in the leather outfits, they were so close to being cured, they actually asked us to up the voltage.
Right.
But with this new just pray the gay away thing, we found that we don't even need to use all that technology. And it's a marvelously simple technique. In fact, it's led to several new ministries at the church. We now have our ex-Negro ministry, where you just pray the Negro away. Because as we all know, Negroality is a choice. No one chooses to be a Negro. And our ministries work wonders. In fact, after just 6 weeks in operation, we can drive a busload of our participants right by a Popeyes and not a single mouth waters. We also recently started our ex-Hebrew ministry. And after just 3 weeks, some of those fellas are tipping up to 10%. So the latest one of the Pray the It Away Ministries is our ex-left-hand ministry. I'll have to get back to you on the success rate for that one.
Right.
Do you think that you'll be able to figure out how to have a ministry to change the gender of female to male, because no one would choose to be female?
By the way, that's Leviticus 18:22. I just looked through my note cards. No, females are here for a reason. Remember, God wasn't going to bother with woman in the first place. He really just wanted Adam. But Adam was lonely. So God put all the animals on the earth and told Adam to pick a mate. Well, Adam didn't find a suitable mate among the animals. Don't tell me how he reached that conclusion.
Right.
And then God gave him took a rib and made a woman. But really, women were just an afterthought by God. If it weren't for Adam's insecurity, God would probably not have bothered with them in the first place. But we love them. They just need to know their place. And Michelle Bachmann, bless her heart, because she just needs to know that her place is not to run for president.
Absolutely. And Hillary Clinton?
Let's not even, I have really no use for feminists and bulldogs. Pardon the redundancy there.
I am a little speechless. I was born to a Catholic family.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
There's still time for me, I'm sure. And I recently found out in the last, probably 2 decades that there is a lot of Jewish in my family.
Oh my God! That's what we would call the double whammy.
The double whammy. Mm-hmm. So I'm a double whammy. So what kind of advice can you give me to get closer to the Lord, as you say?
And closer to being assured that he's going to get that mansion in heaven.
Well, first of all, you have to abandon those faiths, false faiths, accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, have a full immersion baptism, and send a check for 18.5% of your gross income to Landover Baptist Church. Or just stop by and sit with the 10-level tithers for one session. We actually have an offering plate now where you don't put cash in it. You just run your credit card through, and the church automatically deducts 18.5% of your gross from your salary.
That's so convenient.
Yes, it's done marvelous things. It saves all of these poor members the burden of doing the mathematical calculations themselves.
Right. Can you get airline mileage from that?
That's a good point, Jack. I bet I'm going to write that down.
I bet if I use my
Airline
American
mileage,
Express.
That's just marvelous.
And when do you open your own theme park?
Well, what we were thinking of doing is going over there to the Middle East and tearing down all these mosques and temples and all that stuff and just bulldozing it away, putting up maybe a Four Seasons and a couple 5-star restaurants and call it Six Flags Over Jesus. And we'll have like a log flume that goes all the way to the top and then comes straight roaring all the way down to hell. It could be that we've just got some marvelous ideas about that. The problem, though, is we have to wait till all the Jews get back in Israel so that, the God can blow them all away and the second coming can occur.
Brother Harry Hardwick, we want to really thank you for joining us today with your wisdom and your witnessing.
Well, can I ask you, Richard, do you feel, after talking to Brother Harry, a little closer to God?
No, absolutely not. I feel a lot further away.
Okay.
In fact,
remember, turn or burn.
And in fact, I'll choose to burn.
Yeah, it's turn or burn. He's burning.
I'm burning now.
Thank you so much, Brother Harry.
I could tell you were flaming. Now I know that you're going to burn as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brother Harry. Thank you for continuing to mentor me in my career and showing me the way.
Let others see Jesus in you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling in today. You've been listening to RationalBroadcasting.com.
And we hope you're blessed.
The 10% Dallas, we want you to be closer to your radio station that brings you RationalBroadcasting.com and the 10%. We're here every Tuesday from 3 to 4. I am Richard Curtin.
I'm Jackie Jett. May the Lord bless you and may He keep you.
Goodbye.
You're listening to Progressive Talk live from North Texas and streaming live